All right. Good evening, good morning, good day. How are you guys all doing? I am Julianne Peterson with Old Capital Lending, and I'm also the host of Zoom at 8. We have been doing this for over 4.5 years. We've been gathering every week, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So today I want to bring to you some new friends of mine, but are not new to the industry. Jen and Stacy Conkey have been doing multifamily investing for a very long time. They started out as young babies, as many of you and many of the investors here on Zoom at 8. And I wanted to bring them to you so you can get a sense of what other education programs are out there. And they are going to unpack their program, kind of give you an idea of, hey, if I'm not sure where I play in this role in syndications, their model can help you. So I want to introduce you all to Jen and Stacy with Remote Multifamily Investor Academy. Good evening, you guys. Good day. How are you guys? Welcome.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks for having us, Julie.
It's awesome to
Oh,
be here.
absolutely. Listen, I am excited. I'm excited because I'm going to be speaking at your event coming up here in a short amount of time. WOWCon II. WOWCon 1 was awesome. I mean, it was unbelievable. So much fun. The energy that you guys bring and the people that you attract are amazing. And it really comes down to your personalities, what you bring to a team. And I get chills just thinking about the energy and the knowledge that you are so generous to give out to so many people, whether they're your clients, your investors, or even just the audience, that you put out all this information that's so well articulated and demonstrated. So I want to welcome you guys here and want to kind of give you a little bit of time, not a bunch. I always say 30-second elevator speech, but I'll give you a little bit more to tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into multifamily, what you found, to like little nuggets that you brought from your young investing career to where you are today. So I'm going to let Jen, you kick it off.
Right on. So yeah, I'm Jen Conkey of the Jen and Stacy show. We should get a show. So I started back in 2002 with single family home flips, and I segued into single family home rentals, 2 to 4 unit rentals. And I was doing that for about 12 years while I was working full time. So it was sort of a side hustle, and it quickly became a second job. So I needed something that could be more scalable. And I was very interested in apartments. And in 2015, I met this one who was already teaching people how to do that, and she blew my mind with the way that she was explaining it. But I'll let her explain her background a little bit and how we met in 2015.
Amazing. All right. Good.
And let me just start by kind of laying a little bit of a foundation. Investors come to us who they've tried and failed to purchase apartment buildings, and they come to us struggling and frustrated, between the do it yourselfers and the syndication investment models. They're set up to fail when it's their first deal. So the DIY tribe thinks that they're saving money, but the truth is it's the exact opposite. And aspiring syndicators were sold on this easy button, right? That feeds them a pipeline of other people's money and large acquisition fees. But the truth is they fell for the same marketing message that we did. When we started investing in apartments, we tried syndication, which did not come with that easy button after all. So we developed our own method, and we're going to talk about that more today as we're doing this interview. Anyway.
So tell me some of the things that you shifted. Give me a little bit more detail of what was, now this didn't deliver. Can you kind of unpack a couple so that and then we can demonstrate, okay, this is what we do now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when we had already been investing for a while. So at least in theory, syndication should have been easy for us because we already had all this background. And, when you go from not doing any real estate or just doing small real estate into trying to buy a 100-unit building, the numbers sound very sexy. When we sat in that seminar and they were like, ooh, 3% acquisition fee on $10 million. We were like, oh, salivating. That's $300,000 acquisition fee. And so it was like we were sold on ooh, look at this really shiny carrot. But the reality is when you're trying to go from small real estate or no real estate into $10 million real estate, there's a very big learning curve there. And especially for people who are new to apartment investing, I think that when people go from 0 to even closing on that first 10 or 15 unit building, the amount that they learn is astounding. They learn just every piece of the deal and how to operate it, how to asset manage it. So when they then scale up to the next one, let's say it's 25 units or 30 units, and then you go up to maybe 50 units, and they start small and build up, they are building wisdom and knowledge. And since most people are raising capital, bringing in other people's money, in my opinion, and I know I'm going to sound like a jerk for saying that, it is irresponsible to take other people's money if you do not have experience in it. And if you're trying to do a $10 million deal and you haven't done any of the small ones to actually learn what's real, because what's theory and what's real are so different. And when you finish that first deal, even a small deal, that first 10 or 15 unit, you have experience, you have credibility, you have confidence, because now you're not like doing what Jen calls imposter syndrome. You're not like, oh, I want to be an investor, but I haven't closed yet. No, you have. And you've learned about dealing with closing and all the last minute stuff that happens and all the 37 things that the bank is going to ask for at the last possible second. And like all of that. But if you don't start with something smaller and you're trying to go right to big, the chance of you being able to pull that across the finish table is minuscule. So we have a lot of people that come to us who've been in other programs. They're like, we tried to just buy 100 units and I've been trying for 2 to 3 years.
Right.
And our students will on average do 2 apartment deals in their first year with us, smaller ones. And then, but by the time they're done with year 1, they are thousands of times more experienced and knowledgeable and credible than people who've been trying to go to their first 100 unit and they still haven't closed a single deal. And they wasted all that money on education that didn't serve them.
Absolutely.
You know,
I'm only a little bit passionate about it.
I love that. I think that's what, the success for especially Jen was kind of had the same path as I did, where, we did the not the fix and flip, but for me, but I know for you, you did. Yeah. And you learned so much, right? And it's people that come off the street that have never done that, right? And they try and get into these 100-unit buildings. And then they're kind of pointing the finger. Well, they're pointing the finger at a partner who too doesn't have any experience. And then they're going and pointing the finger at the property management company. Well, if you don't have any experience of how to deal with property management, how successful can you be with other people's money? I mean, that's truly one of the things that I really want to touch on. And we talked a little bit about this with your asset management. You guys really dig deep into the asset management philosophy, theory. You've got a lot of in-depth information that you're sharing. So I would love for you to unpack that a little bit. Like, what is an expectation for somebody who comes to your program that's going to be different from the rest of them, that's going to target this particular asset management? Because listen, you and I know that a lot of these education programs do not offer that. They let the student fall off a cliff. So let's talk about that real quickly, because I think that that's another reason why people should think about joining your WOWCon and also your program. So let's unpack that.
We'll talk about the valuation and then have you go into like the 3 goals.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to take just a quick little moment, and then Jen has such a great way of explaining like how we do that. The thing that sometimes people don't make the connection on when they're getting into multifamily is that the value of the building is based on the net operating income. And so where that connects with asset management, if you just buy it and you're on to the next thing and you're not actually doing everything possible to increase the income and decrease the expenses, you are not increasing the value of the building. Like, asset management is so critical, but it's not this sexy, acquisition fees, but you can destroy a deal by not being good at asset management. Anyway, so
no, and that's why, because we know that to be true. We take a very serious approach Yeah,
right?
we take a very serious approach to the asset manager. It's a critical role. So
Yeah.
what we do in our entire program, we train people on 3 roles, and we have a very strong vision. We want 100 teams of 3: acquisitions manager, capital raiser, and asset manager. The asset manager, God, we have over 60 different videos that teach you that. We even have an asset management coach. We have an asset management call, so that if you're an asset manager, you go to these calls and you get coached on things to learn how to do that, to learn how to make your NOI
Professionally
and
do this.
professionally.
Yes.
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 So
Not
for
just
us,
beat up the
no,
property manager. That
no.
doesn't, so keep going, keep going.
No, like for example, we teach them exactly how you have to look at this. What does the P&L look like? How do you manage those processes? How do you have the conversations? You know, one of the things that's like the shortest, and nobody's doing it out there, but is we're teaching the soft skills of real estate investing, the soft skills of managing the performance of your team, or having difficult conversations with the partners that you are in the deal with. I know one of the things that astonishes me is that in these bigger programs, you know, you're taught how to go lock up and submit an LOI, and now it's accepted and cool, we'll get you a sponsor and we'll do these things. Well, I need more than that, right? I had 22 years of experience in corporate America, where all I was responsible was for 12 assets that I had to manage remotely. And I had to get with the team and remotely explain what's going on with the P&L here and what's with this, and understanding what behaviors drive and move the mercury on those line items is what you need to know. And if you don't know that, then you're in for a world of hurt. You're in for some surprises, and you won't be proactively leading or managing that asset in a way that's going to increase NOI and really get the most profit and value back for your investors. So we're super passionate about, don't go into an asset without knowing how to manage it, or having somebody who professionally knows how to do that for you.
Wow, that is, I want to touch a little bit on that, because you come from also a coaching kind of background too, that you have with your Tony Robbins, right? And I think that is so powerful, because those conversations that you do have to have with your team members, whether they're your partners or your property managers, you really help have that, work through those conversations. That is a totally different way that most of education mentors, gurus, whatever, they're not taking that.
No.
I really love
I
that.
can't tell you how many times we've had all of our events where our students, how do I have this conversation? And I teach them it's a 4-step framework. It's called the desk model. You describe the situation, explain how it's impacting, specify what needs to change, and assign the consequence, whether it's good or bad, on what's going to happen if it doesn't. And it's a framework that I teach, and then we actually have them role play at the event with each other, so they can approach these conversations with some certainty and some confidence, and know how to have these conversations. So they're not beating the crap out of that property manager. They're leading them. They're getting their commitment, man. And that property manager wants to change the culture of that building, turn things around. People want to rent there. It's a whole movement, a whole vibe. And if you know how to lead that way and influence that way, you're gonna scale better, and you're gonna have less heartache. You know, it's like, how do I have this conversation? Oh, you already know there's a framework. Cool. And we walk them through how to do that, and practicing how you're showing up for that and leading the asset all the way through.
That is amazing. I mean, that's just life skills that we missed that chapter. Oh my gosh. So that is really, that is a cool piece that I've not seen, honestly. So you've got asset management, which is huge. You've got this, how to speak to people, right? And you also you talked a little bit about this, the 3 different positions, right? Can we unpack that a little bit? Because listen, I think one of the biggest conversations that I have with people is, what's your role going to be? I don't know. I don't know what I do. I know that I have asset management. Well, how do you know that? Well, because I owned a couple of houses. Well, you might not. So I would love for you to quickly unpack each of those roles and how somebody can identify themselves, and then to look for their partners. Absolutely. I think that would be really helpful.
Sure. Do you want to go? Or
no,
you
explained this so well.
So when we're looking at it, the way that we teach it, and we teach this at every WOWCon, because it's kind of like the Harry Potter sorting hat when you get into the event. You want to know how I belong here. I know, because these people are cool, but like, what does this mean for me? And so we Harry Potter sorting hat people, and first things first, we explain acquisitions. Well, we're going to take you through the process of understanding if you like spreadsheets, if you like underwriting tools, if you like numbers, if you like making cold calls to brokers and trying to find lenders, and or just use Julie, or if you want to go through all of those things and that gets you jacked and you're really excited about that, then that's probably going to be the role for you. If you like to talk to people and find out how you can serve them, and they have capital and you have an opportunity and you're really good at raising capital and putting people's money to work, but more importantly, you're very good at explaining what's going on with the deal. What's the upside? What's the downside? What are we going to do with potential downside? Are we going to live with that? And having investor relations, if you're good at communications, and if you're good at explaining risk, and if you're good at explaining, okay, when you're investing, you want a risk bucket, you want a growth bucket. These are the different ways that you want to do that. And where are you? And understanding that, and you have the financial savvy, cool, raise some capital. Asset managers, if you are just, I would rather be in my office with a spreadsheet, a calculator, and all these line items, and get on a Zoom and figure out what's going on here and how can I get my boots on the ground to go look at this particular thing. And you understand that human behavior and whether or not something's being done or not done is gonna affect that line item. And what behaviors, what tasks, what things. So if you're very good at the details and understanding the patterns of that, and you know how to have a difficult conversation with somebody, whether it be the PM or members of your team, then asset management might be for you. You also understand that it's your responsibility. It's kind of like the CEO. The CEO's number one role in the business is to maintain profitability. And then, so an acquisitions manager is sort of like a CFO. They're the one that's out there. All right, we're looking at this. We're putting together a pro forma. Both the bookends of the thing, because it seems linear, but it's really not, right? The bookend, I say acquisitions manager and asset manager are the bookends, and the capital raisers in the middle just bring in all the opportunities. So at WOWCon, what we do is we help people identify what role's best for them based on what they're already good at. Even if they've never done acquisitions or underwriting or any of that, but are you a fan of numbers? Are you good at putting numbers in and seeing the patterns, making distinctions, understanding, oh, if I adjust this, this will happen, or am I factoring in this, or what does the DSCR should be? And do you know how to stress test stuff, or does that stuff make you go crazy? Like, I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be over here doing this. Get into the role that's going to make you geek out about it. And then we go through that process. People sort themselves out. Then we do a speed dating. So I'll get all of the acquisition managers on the first row, and I'll bring in anybody that identifies as an asset manager. Come over here, and we're going to do 5-minute speed round dating sessions, right? And we have the capital raisers in the other room, just making sure that, are you sure you want to do this? Do you have a deep Rolodex, or do you not? Would it be 506B? Would it be 50? It's a whole different bag, right? But then we eventually get everybody back into the room, and sometimes people form partnerships. And this is where it gets interesting. Because if you can survive a 6-hour car ride with somebody, you could probably do business with them. We specifically curate team building activities to make sure that they test this out, though, because it's just like testing out a deal, right?
Sure.
We put them in situations where they got to get out of an escape room, or they've got to go on a scavenger hunt and find stuff, or they've got to go and steal a French fry off of somebody's plate and get a picture of it. Like, we do crazy things so that they can see, how are these folks handling it when we hit a challenge? Or do they withdraw, or do they face it? Or if they made a mistake, how do they handle that? Do they acknowledge they made a mistake? Do they communicate it? Do they say, here's what I learned, and this is what I'm gonna do different next time? How do they behave? And those team building activities that we do for those 2 nights, it opens it up so people can really quickly, by day 3, understand, I thought I vibed with you, but you're different. You show up different when the rubber meets the road. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
listen, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but
you're good. You're good.
Making relationships, building these relationships, they take time.
They do.
It's not just over a weekend, but I absolutely love that you are putting in place activities that kind of get people off guard, right?
Yep.
And really have to see how they will react to certain situations. Again, very different education program. Now, here's the question I have. What if somebody just wants to be a passive investor? They're looking to find out, hey, I don't want to be an asset manager. I don't want to be a general partner. I just want to know that I know how to underwrite. So when I see deals come across my desk, somebody coming to WOWCon that's a passive investor, how would their experience be for them? And what would you recommend? Because obviously, listen, equity is king right now, and we need to have limited partners coming to these conferences, organizations. So how do you speak to them?
Absolutely. So any of our, because we have our own capital company, it's Capital Titans, and we have a lot of passive investors that invest in the deals that we raise capital for. Now,
Okay.
what we do is we have a special, it's a curated list of training videos that we provide for our passive investors. So any passive investor that wanted to come to WOWCon would have access to that curated list. It
Okay.
goes through all of the steps so that you understand at a high level how to protect yourself, how to do a due diligence on a deal as a passive investor it's critical. So coming into WOWCon, one of the things that you get is you get exposure to us, you get a higher level of us, and you also get exposure to other people in our network that are already in the acquisition manager role, already in the asset manager role. They might even be teamed up and they have a capital raiser. So your best bet is to go see the capital raisers when I'm sorting people out. Oh, let me go look at this capital raiser. By the way, Stacy and I are capital raisers, just so you know, I'm just gonna little plug there. But we also have some pretty incredible that
We do.
thank you. Good God, I can't think of it. Capital raisers, like Andy's in there. He's really good at that. There's a lot of opportunity there to have some conversations and really vet the folks out before deciding to invest in a deal. And I know that Stacy can give a lot of value there on what are some key things to look for.
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up too, because, one of the things because we have our capital company, one of the shifts that we've decided to make going into 2024 is Jen and I will only be doing 506C deals when we're raising capital, which means the only people that that can invest with us are accredited. However,
Sorry,
in the
forgot.
academy, and we've done 506B, it's just, that's just where we're at. But in the academy, most of the deals done are the 506B, which means if someone wants to invest passively, but they're not an accredited investor yet, they still have the opportunity. And the I say students, but by the time they're doing these kinds of deals, they're not students anymore. They're the members of our academy. Not only have they been with us for years, they're being coached one-on-one. So when they have a deal, they're going through a deal. These are like the most knowledgeable people that you're going to find that are doing 506B. Not only that, they have, us and our coaches' eyes on their deal. So someone who comes to WOWCon who's like, I don't really want to invest, but I do want to get involved, or I just want to at least meet people. One, you're going to get a broader education about multifamily, which you should have anyway, if you're going to be investing. But on top of it, you get to really connect and meet with people who you'll get to know them and be like, you know what, do I feel like I know, like, and trust this person? And do I want to have further conversations? Because if you have a deal, I want to be a part of it, because I feel like you underwrite conservatively, or you and your team underwrite conservatively, and that you care about my money and you're going to be careful with my money.
Yeah.
And I also want to make sure everybody understands with all of this floating rate, all the things that are about to happen. We can honestly and proudly tell you right now, zero, not one, none of our deals, none of our student deals. There's nobody in our academy that's at risk of that because of what we teach. And we don't let any of our coaches coach unless they've been doing business with us using our model and how we go about this. So all three of our coaches that are in our program that coach our students, they've been doing business with us and using our model for at least 15 years. So we're very serious about people's money, people's results. And when you're bringing your investors in, we don't ever want you to have to make a phone call, one of those awful phone calls that, either a capital call or this isn't working out type of call. We haven't had that. So it's because we have a very specific method. So when you do come in that room, anybody that especially is in the front row, they've been with us for at least 3 years. That means they're with us for life, by the way. Once they're in their third year, they have a permanent seat at our table. Their last name's on the back of their chair. Those are the folks you want to look for, and just start asking some questions.
Do they have a parking spot too at the office?
If I had a building, Julie, yes, they would.
They would.
That's my goal. I want to get a studio, and then yes, they will.
Now, again, you guys are so different. You you take the young investor up to, lifetime partner. I absolutely love that. And you're in the trenches. What I want to say beyond all of what you've shared with our audience here is the fact that you guys are fun to be around, right? You're doing it. You're living what you say. But for somebody who comes to WOWCon and they just want to experience you guys are putting out so much information. Seriously, so
Yes.
much information. And this upcoming WOWCon, you've got so many really good speakers. So you could learn about, your solo 401k, SDIRAs. You've got attorneys coming. So somebody who is really trying to figure out what I'm going to do, meeting the people, the right people, the vendors that you have coming, I'm going to be there. I mean, right
Yeah.
there. But what I'm saying is, it is, you just, the whole experience is just something that is so valuable on so many levels. So I want to encourage everybody who's listening to this to really consider joining the WOWCon coming up February 2nd through 4th. It's in Orlando, Florida. It is going to be an amazing event. And tell us a little bit more about it. Give us kind of the lowdown.
Whew. Day one is loaded with all of the experts that are storming the stage. You storm the stage first, right after we do. We're like, let's get Julie up here as quick as we can so she can talk about
say it like it is
and all the things, right? We do. We have Julie there. We have our Kim Lisa Taylor. We have Karen Hall is coming for self-directed IRAs.
Right.
We've got Corey Posgay coming about asset management. We've got an entire speaker lineup that's just value. Day two, we have Ron White, who's the #1 memory expert in the world. He's coming in there.
I forgot.
Oh man, we saw him at an event and he remembered 250 people's names in the room, just started calling them out.
Incredible.
And we all hit our badges too. So it was like,
Wow.
we watched him do that. And I was like, oh my God, I want that guy to come teach our folks how to do that. Because then he taught us how to do it, how to actually remember somebody's name. Because when you first walk up to somebody, you already forget their name.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody
You're thinking
has
about that suit they're wearing or something.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I make shoe contact before eye contact until I met Ron, right? And I'm like, oh, you're up here. Got it. Got your name.
So somebody can learn how to have memory.
Yes.
I mean,
memorize
excellent.
everybody's names. It helps you with capital raising. It'll help you with networking at that event. So day two is pretty killer. Plus we're literally having a commercial investor or a commercial broker that's coming, and her name's Julia.
Awesome.
And she's the president of CCIM in Miami. She's coming to talk about some opportunities with commercial real estate. We've got Rebecca Weaver's coming, and she is somebody who taught me in corporate America how to have these difficult conversations. So we're going to have some soft skills at the event where you're learning how to give feedback, assess performance, and what to do about it when it's not performance that you want. And then we've got, day three. First of all, day three is amazing. We always do, it's transformation day, where I literally wire your brain to become an unstoppable multifamily investor. We are going to be breaking boards that are almost 1 inch thick. We usually will sometimes break arrows with our throat, but this time at WOWCon, it's just going to be the board. And on that day, what you're doing is you're writing down everything you want. Like, what's your ideal life? What's your extraordinary life? What are all the things you want? What are you going to accomplish? Then on the other side of the board, I have you write down everything that's going to get in your way. What's going to stop you from this? And then you come up on the stage with me and you put that board on 2 cinder blocks with everything that's going to stop you facing up at you. And I get you into a state where you make your move, change the physiology, and break the board. Like, you break through all of those challenges, and it opens up to everything that's possible for you. And it's not only is it very symbolic, but you feel it. You feel it inside that,
transformative.
And it transforms, and you step into an identity through an exercise that I do also of just going for it. So it's a very curated event on purpose. Almost every word, every person, everything that we're doing is to stair step you so that you understand and get into what you want and accomplish your dreams. Get into the identity you want, get into the role you want, get into the room with all the people that you need. And we have fun.
You guys just pour out so much energy. It is amazing. You must have to go on vacation after that, but
we take the whole week off after.
Yeah, I would say. Well, this has been fantastic. I always love to share our time, our space together. You guys are incredible. You're making a difference in so many lives, and I just love it. And if somebody is interested in doing WOWCon, how do they do this? I know I put out on my social medias, you can sign up there. You can just click on it, and you know, I get a little bit of credit to getting you there, right?
Absolutely.
But how about if someone doesn't see my post? How can they sign up?
Well, they can go to wowcon.com to sign up.
Okay.
And then make sure you tell us that
And then
Julie sent you
When
something
you're
now.
filling out the form to come, please let us know that Julie sent you. Please let
I
us know
know.
because
So we can hit the heart emojis.
yeah, we
on
gotta
Julie.
hit-
Emojis.
absolutely. Yeah, wowcon.com. And then when you're filling out the form to tell us the size of your t-shirt and all the things, make sure you say Julie sent me.
Yeah.
You got a free t-shirt. I wear that free I love my t-shirt. This is a great t-shirt, you guys. You
You're
did
gonna
all
get
right
another
with
one.
those t-shirts. Oh my God,
wanted
I
to
love it.
I wanted to say one other quick thing for
Sure.
people who feel like, oh, I won't be able to go to Orlando in time. Obviously,
Oh.
going there in person is going to be, it's better than freaking anything.
Yep.
However, if you're like, oh God, I wish I could be there, and I just physically can't fly there, we do have a virtual option. So on that page, if you
Oh my
scroll
God.
down below the in-person tickets, you'll see a virtual option as well. Because we want people to be able to, just
Yep.
really get all of the speakers and stuff. But if you could come in person, you totally want to do that.
We already have 112 people in the virtual room.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
over-
that's huge, you
200.
guys.
yeah, over 100 people in the in-person room. So there's plenty of room. If you can't
Yep.
make it, just hop on
That
virtual.
is so great. Is there a difference in price? Can you share that with us?
There is a difference in
Yeah.
price. So if you come in person, it's $997. And if you go to the virtual, it's $97.
Yeah. The $997 includes a +1, so it'd be for two
That's
people.
true. That's for two people.
Okay, $997 for the weekend.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
cheap
Two people. Yeah.
Yeah.
for two people. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't do the math, but around 500. Dot
Pretty much.
33 cents. No, or virtual at 97.
97, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, that is a deal.
Isn't it? But and it won't be 97 next time because this is
No.
the first time we're doing virtual. We have a very ironclad plan. Our team has been
Wow.
working very hard on it. We've got 2 streaming cameras,
Mhm.
all the things, a whole new software where it'll
Wow.
be, it's really awesome. Like we're going to be able to take your logos and put it up there when you're speaking. It's a whole experience, but it is the first time we're doing virtual at that level.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then next time it might be 197. I don't know, but
It's
a
still,
deal.
I'm listen, I mean, for all of the golden nuggets that you guys drop,
Exactly. It's no brainer.
it's a lost leader, but a real win for everybody. I mean, I'm telling you, again, we started out with how generous you guys are. And I once again will reiterate that you guys are so generous. You're so timely with delivery to, each of these steps for the person that is ready to commit. So I want to thank you for joining me today, this morning, wherever you are. And I look forward to continuing to bring people to your program. It is so valuable. And I look forward to seeing you guys too.
We can't wait to see you again.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you for having us.
Of course, I will see you soon.
Yes.
Yes.